I'm Amy Cherry. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer. Beaver Toyota, here to wow ya. It's official, Congressman Ron DeSantis is running for governor. Rich Petchke has our top story.
Ron DeSantis made the announcement Friday during an appearance on Fox & Friends.
As somebody who's a military officer, Iraq veteran, a proven conservative, and then with the support of the president, I'm in a position to exercise the leadership that can build on the great work that Governor Rick Scott has done to advance economic opportunity, reform education, and drain the swamp in Tallahassee, which needs to be drained just like Washington.
DeSantis says he's received financial backing from Sheldon Adelson, David Bossie, and Rebecca Mercer, along with 24 other national figures. He also received an endorsement from President Trump. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Rich Petchke.
This portion of WNZF Local News, a service of the Daytona Beach International Airport. Fly to the Big Apple in a New York minute on JetBlue from the Daytona Beach International Airport.
The Flagler County Sheriff's Communications Center received multiple calls Sunday evening concerning a social media post threatening a school named MHS. A thorough investigation has found that the MHS mentioned in the post is Monticello High School in Albemarle County, Virginia. The threat was not referencing Matanzas High School in Palm Coast. A suspect has been identified and detained in the Virginia threat case. The Flagler County Sheriff's Office will have increased patrols at all schools today as children return from winter break. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Rich Carroll.
I want to go to Washington because I believe I'm called to make a difference.
And just like that, Fred Costello threw his hat in the ring to represent Florida in the U.S. Congress. His announcement to enter the race to represent District 6 came Saturday in Palm Coast Heroes Park after it was widely known that Congressman Paul Renner would be running for governor. If elected, the Republican says he'd do away with federal bureaucracy.
One thing I want you to think about, the federal departments of energy, education, labor, interior, housing and urban development, environmental protection agency, get rid of them and send those functions back to the states where they belong. We know more about taking care of our own area than Washington does.
Costello added he's a huge supporter of President Trump.
I was on the Trump train before I knew what the Trump train was. I talked about no pensions for elected officials. I talked about making sure that there's term limits, and I'm self-imposing 8-year term limit. I talked about no lobbying if you've ever been an elected official. I want to get that corruption out of it. That's draining the swamp.
There to support him at Saturday's announcement was County Commissioner Nate McLaughlin and former Palm Coast Mayor John Netz. Some major upgrades at the Flagler Executive Airport will be shown off today. John Arking reports.
The new runway project at the Flagler Executive Airport will be celebrated at 11:30 this morning with a ribbon-cutting event. The project included the construction of a 5,500-foot runway, as well as a full parallel taxiway, runway and taxiway lighting, directional signage, runway and identifier lights, also known as REILs, and stormwater improvements. Director Roy Seeger says the $12.2 million price tag makes it the single largest project ever completed at the airport. The money came from a variety of sources. The FAA paid $9.3 million, the Florida Department of Transportation paid just over $2.7 million, and the Airport Enterprise Fund paid just about $129,000. Originally built in 1942, the airport averages about 500 takeoffs or landings per day and is considered one of the nation's busiest general aviation airports. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm John Arking.
An extreme cycling competition next weekend is expected to bring an influx of tourists to the area. It's one of several signature events that local tourism officials are working to create to entice people to come to Flagler County. The Gravelondo mixes gravel, dirt, brick, and asphalt trails for a 42-mile trek being held in conjunction with the Florida CX State Championships. The festivities kick off Friday with a meet and greet at Oceanside Beach Bar and Grill, with the races getting underway Saturday on the grounds of the Florida Agricultural Museum. If cycling's not your thing, runners can try the course Saturday morning. The event kicks off a year of tourism events that include the first ever Coquina Cup that features lifeguard skills competitions and paddleboard and swimming races. And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Amy Cherry.